A cheerful good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you. Welcome back once again in the GK class today. Before going ahead with the same thing, today I'm not going to repeat you the same things, that is take all the necessary precautions and everything. You all are mature enough, as well as you all have grown up enough to understand that is what are the situations which are going on. Okay, all of you would have seen that if you are going to through the newspapers and everything, the state governments, the central governments, even the high court as well as the supreme courts, they are also taking strict actions against those peoples who are not taking the necessary precautions or who are not following the guidelines which are being told to follow. Okay, so I request each and every one of you to please take care, and at the same time, if we are not going to pay proper attention, it is possible that we may again be facing the same pandemic situation which has recently passed few months back. So it was very difficult for us to come out through that pandemic situation, and somehow we have managed to do that. So let us not get into the same trouble again, so that whatever our necessary things are being going on, okay, the jobs, the studies and everything, it may run on a proper smooth manner without having any kind of hindrances, without having any kind of problems or troubles in between. Okay, so starting with our today's class, first and the foremost thing, I would like to share the syllabus which we have already that is what are the pages which we have done in the last class and what are the pages which we are going to do it today. Let us start with that. This is the syllabus. I hope all of you would have seen this part, and in the last class we have done page numbers 56 and 56 and 62. These were the two page numbers. That was, I hope, awesome Australia, which we have done. So today we are going to do these two page numbers which are there, that is science and technology, your periodic test 2 part, that is we use page number 44 and page number 50. So let us start with the science and technology part, periodic test 2, these two page numbers which we are going to do it today, that is your page number 44 and page number 50. Please try to pay attention, all of you, please be ready with your books and everything, and at the same time please keep on writing down the answers so that it becomes easier for you. Okay, so starting with today's class. Okay, so this is the very first one, that is the land of spices when we are talking about here. So match the spices to their names in Hindi. Okay, so if you will ask to your mothers or parents, or basically your mothers only or father as well, but basically the person who is working in the kitchen, he is much more familiar as well as habitual of all these terms this side. Okay, I'm talking about in Hindi. Some of them would be familiar with both Hindi as well as English. Okay, so let us start with them. So almost all of the images has been given here, but I will try my level best to show you some more images, much more clear one, so that you will be able to get a clear idea related to this. And at the same time, if you want, you can just have a quick revision by going into your kitchens and just identifying or calling it by their English names, identifying it by calling their English names about all these spices which are present in your kitchen. Let us start with the very first one, that is we have the fennel. So this fennel is nothing but saunf. Okay, in this case of saunf, I would like to show you some more pictures also related to this. Okay, so this is your basically saunf, that is the fennel, and this is the plant of the fennel from which this is obtained. ठीक है, ये plant है fennel का और इसी से ये fennel obtained किया जाता है, saunf obtained किया जाता है. One more thing I would like to say here, that is basically there was an article in the newspaper as well, and I would like to say you one more thing, that is this fennel or saunf, it is very good for your digestion purpose, and at the same time it also builds up your immunity as well. Okay, so basically you can just purchase it. It is not very costly as well. And mishri, you know, all of you know mishri as well. Okay, so you can mix both of these things together, and please try to have it just after your meals, whether in the morning or in the night. This is not only going to improve your digestion, but it is also going to improve your immune system as well. All right, let us move ahead with the next part. In the next one, we have the Asafoetida, okay, or Asafoetida, that is your eye, that is your hing. When we are talking about this hing, so this hing is found in basically two forms, okay, that is your raw form as well as the powdered form. Let us have a quick view over that hing. Okay, if you can see here, this is your raw form of the Asafoetida or hing, and this is the powdered form. When you will touch it or rub, take a pinch of this Asafoetida or hing and try to rub it in between your index fingers or any of the two fingers, you will observe that it is quite rough in nature, just like your salt which is there. Okay, moving ahead with the next one, we have the bay leaf, that is your tej patta. In Hindi we call it tej patta, and this bay leaf is not only used in the spices, but it can be also used for when you are preparing your tea as well. Okay, so whenever you are preparing the tea, you can just add 1 to 2 leaf of it and try to see or observe or taste the different flavors of the tea by adding this part. Next one is your basil. Basil is basically your tulsi. Okay, when we are talking about tulsi, is not only being used when you are suffering from cough and cold, but it is also used in the holy rituals. Okay, this is the most you can say a specific picture which you will be able to recognize it very quickly. Okay, so this is your holy basil, that is the plant of the tulsi, which is being used not only for your religious purposes but also for your medicinal purposes as well. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have here the next one, that is your black pepper. When we are talking about the black pepper, so it is your basically Kali Mirch. Okay, when we are talking about the Kali Mirch, so this is basically here. Okay, you'll be able to have a much more better look here as well. Okay, this is your black pepper, and this is the plant of the black pepper. If you can see how it is present in the plant, and when it gets dried up in this way, okay, you are able to get in this form as well. Okay, or might be possible that this is present inside this leaf like structures. Okay, so this is the plant of the black pepper from which this black pepper is obtained. You can also crush it, okay, to form the black pepper powder, or you can use it in the raw forms as well. It is basically used to treat each and every kinds of your skin problems. That is, if you have some or the other skin problems in your body, so you can use this black pepper in your diets, or basically in the mornings just after you fresh up, just after doing the brush and everything, you can just have a little bit, 5 to 6 numbers of this black pepper, and please try to chew it and use it with water or swallow water. If you are able to taste it, or if you are able to live without water after chewing this black pepper, superb. If you are not able to do, please use water, no problem in that, but use very little amount of water. So this is basically one of the remedies for treating your skin disorders as well. Moving ahead with this, we have the black salt. In Hindi we call it to be your kala namak. Okay, that is your M. In this case, the black salt, it is found, again, if you remember in the last class I told you that our salt was formed or is formed very rarely. It is formed nowadays, but earlier this was formed in the rock forms only. That is, pieces of stones were there, pieces of rocks were there, and directly they were being purchased from the markets as well. ठीक है, जो नमक होता था उनके खाली टुकड़े मिलते थे, ठीक है। ये पाउडर्ड फॉर्म में नमक नहीं आता था पहले, और बेसिकली आज भी लेकिन बहुत कम जगहों पे वो टुकड़े मिलते हैं। एंड इट वाज मच मोर चीपर एज कंपेयर टू टुडेज market value of these salts which are present, they are basically, if you powdered form is basically nothing but the crushed form of these stones or the rock pieces only. Okay, so always remember, whether it is your black salt or your senha namak as well, okay, all of them, they are basically obtained from the rock salt only. That is why they are also known as rock salt. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have the carom seeds, that is your C, that is your ajwain. One more thing is there that I'll be telling you in the last. Okay, so this is your carom seeds, this one which is there. Okay, that is in Hindi we call it to be ajwain. This is a little bit very hot in nature. That is, if you consume it, it creates a lot of heat inside your body. That is why it is always consumed in very less amount. Or if you will observe it, so this ajwain is basically given to those persons who are suffering from cold and cough as well, because it heals by providing heat to your body, so that all the cough and everything can be released from your body. Moving ahead with this, next we have, that is your green chili, that is your hari mirch. All of us, we are very much aware. I'm not going to show you that. It is here as well. One of the pictures has been given here. Okay, mircha. Next we have mircha or mirch. Basically we call it to be mirch only, but due to just common language we always say mircha. Okay, next we have here is, that is your cinnamon. Cinnamon is your H, that is your dalchini. Okay, the taste is little bit peculiar. Okay, or I don't like this, but people say that it is quite useful. Okay, so cinnamon is basically this one, the wooden piece like the bark of the tree you are able to see here. Okay, so this is sweeter in taste, but with a little bit what you can say, different kind of sweetness. Okay, with some bitterness is also there in this. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have the next one, that is your cumin seeds. So cumin seeds is nothing but your jeera. Okay, which you are able to observe here, this one. Okay, now I would like to show you one more thing, that is, if you try to compare this part, okay, that is your carom seeds, ajwain, jeera, and this one saunf. Okay, they are more or less very much similar in structures, so please don't get confused. Try to observe it carefully. This is always little bit greenish in color. Ajwain is little bit darker in color and little bit much more thicker, whereas this one cumin seeds, that is your jeera, this is much more flatter, much more reddish in color, and very thin as compared to your both the things, that is your carom seeds or your fennel seeds as well. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have next one. All of you know this is very common. Okay, used in rituals as well as common as a mouth freshener as well. Instead of mouth fresheners, if you go for clove, this is not only going to make your gums healthy, but it is also going to remove any kind of bacteria or anything which would be present in your mouth as well, or in between your teeth. Moving ahead, so this is nothing but clove. In Hindi we call it to be long. Okay, next we have is, here also it has been given, you can see it here. Okay, next we have your cardamom, that is your N, that is your elaichi. Okay, this cardamom is this part. Okay, very costly and very much delicious as well. Okay, if you add little bit it in the while preparing your tea or coffee, it is going to add a lot of flavor to it. Okay, this one is your fenugreek seeds, that is your methi. In Hindi we call it to be, this methi is little bit like your pulses color, but it is very very smaller as compared to your pulses. Basically the seeds are being crushed to form the fenugreek powder or methi powder. Okay, so this is your fenugreek, that is your O, methi. Next we have the mustard, that is your sarso, L, so or rye we call it to be. Okay, mustard, that is your rye, or basically you can also call it to be sarso as well. Okay, I'm showing you the image of that. If you can see, this is your mustard. Okay, two colors are there, that is your this one little bit blackish as well as yellowish. This is used in rituals. Both are used in your delicious food items for cooking purposes, but this is also used in rituals. This is not used in the rituals as per my knowledge. Starting with this, I'm also showing you the plants of this. Okay, ये सरसों का खेत है basically, and it is very pleasant, heart filling. Okay, when you observe the fields having the mustard plants. Okay, it gives you a different type of peace in your mind as well as your entire body, as well as it also becomes a selfie spot as well. Okay, those who are little bit connected to your village, you must have observed this kind of superb scene or this kind of mustard plants. Next we have turmeric. If you can see, that is here, turmeric basically means haldi. Okay, if you can see, but from outer side, if this turmeric was not cut, so it was little bit difficult for you to identify between the turmeric and the ginger from outside. Okay, this one, so this is the fresh turmeric which has been recently taken out from the plants. Okay, from outer side it is similar to your ginger, but when it gets dried up it becomes little bit different. Just try to have the look here. Okay, this turmeric, same turmeric, when it gets dried up, so it becomes in this way. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं खड़ी हल्दी, इसको बोलते हैं पीसी हुई हल्दी. That is your raw turmeric and powdered turmeric. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have, that's it. Okay, moving ahead with the next one, that is, do you know that tamarind or imli is used for curing stomach pains? Okay, very good. Moving ahead, so this is your tamarind. It is in this way found in the plant. This is basically the fruit. When you remove the shells from the outer side, you will be able to get the tamarind inside, just like your groundnuts. मूंगफली की तरह रहता है, अंदर मूंगफली के दाने की जगह यहाँ पे इमली रहेगी. And you can prepare the chutneys of this tamarind as well, or paste of this tamarind as well. Okay, moving ahead, about the different kinds of scientists who are present, who were present. Okay, and they have contributed our world with many number of new inventions as well. Okay, starting with this very first one, we have Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, or Isaac Newton. Starting with this, okay, so he was responsible for giving you the laws of motion. Okay, motion basically means movement from one place to another. In the case of this laws of motion, there are 3 laws of motion which you will be studying in your 9th class when you will go. Okay, moving ahead with the next one, we have Sir, okay, let me show you the image of him as well. So he was the person, that is your Isaac Newton. Okay, or Isaac Newton. If you are able to observe this triangular piece of structure in his hand, this is known as your basically prism, which you will be seeing in 7th class. You have this experiment which he is performing. This is dispersion of white light into 7 colors, or scattering of white light into 7 colors. Basically it is dispersion only, because whatever this white light which you are able to see here, this white light is composed of 7 colors. So when you pass it through a glass prism, all these 7 colors, they get split up into their respective colors. Okay, and this is a band of 7 colors which is known as Vibgyor basically. Moving ahead with this, we have the next one, that is your Sir C.V. Raman. That is the Raman effect he gave. Let us have a quick view of him as well. Okay, so he was the Nobel laureate Sir C.V. Raman, born on 7th of November 1888 and died on 21st of November 1970. Okay, so if you can calculate, okay, the age of him as well. So 70 this side and 88 is already there, so 12 years there. So if he lived for around 82 years, okay, and he was a very great physicist as well, okay, and he was awarded the Nobel laureate for that only, physics, Raman effect. Next we have the next person, famous person, that is your Albert Einstein, that is who gave the theory of general relativity, that is each and every object is interrelated to each other. He was the person, that is your Albert Einstein. Now though he is initiated this part, that is each and everything can be correlated with each other, or they can be related or connected with each other, each and every facts of the universe, they are interconnected to each other, but he was not able to reach to a final conclusion. Okay, so that is why in basically in physics category we used to find here, that is it is very difficult to reach up to a conclusion, though this process was started by him, but he was not able to reach to a final conclusion in this theory of relativity. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have Stephen Hawking. As all of us we know that this famous personality cannot be forgot. Okay, Stephen Hawking was the person who was responsible for giving us the concept of your steam, which can be utilized for running up your engines and everything. Okay, so here it is. As you can see at the back on the blackboard, it is written here, how many proofs do you know for Pythagoras theorem? So it is 1, so that is shameful. Okay, it is 3 actually, maybe. Okay, that your maths teacher would be knowing much more better. Okay, now for him, if you can see, he was I cannot say what was the condition of him. He was a little bit paralyzed or handicapped, I don't know. Okay, but his effect or the inventions or the concept which was given by him has been a marvelous invention in today's world, and his invention only is being carried from one person to another, or from one technology to another. Okay, moving ahead, even your pressure cookers which are there, they are being based on his names only, that is your Hawkins pressure cooker. Moving ahead with this, next one we have the Homi Bhabha, that is your Indian Atomic Energy Program. Okay, so he was the scientist who was Stephen Hawking was responsible for exploding the black hole theory of exploding the black holes. Okay, Homi Bhabha is responsible for the Indian Atomic Energy Program. If you can see the right hand side, he is also known as the father of Indian nuclear program, because he was responsible for initiating this nuclear program. Moving ahead, we have the next one, that is your Gregor Mendel. In the case of Gregor Mendel, that is your E part, he gave the introduction to the laws of heredity. When we are talking about the heredity, so heredity basically means, that is when the characters are being passed from one generation to another. The meaning of this is that all of you know that since you all have been given the birth by your parents, so you all share some or the other characteristics from your parents. आप लोगों के अंदर बहुत सारी ऐसी characteristics हैं जो आपके पापा या मम्मी से मिलती रहती हैं. So this is nothing but the laws of heredity only. क्योंकि हम लोग उन्हीं के थ्रू पैदा हुए हैं, तो उनके कुछ कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, कुछ पापा के कुछ मम्मी के, दोनों आपस में मिल करके हमारे अंदर ट्रांसफर हो जाते हैं. ओके, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी लुक लिटिल बिट सिमिलर टू देम, और वी शेयर सम और द अदर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स फ्रॉम आवर mothers and fathers. It is not necessary as well. Okay, next one we have this Gregor Mendel. He was also responsible for providing us the different theories related to your heredity. Like he has performed his experiments basically with your pea plant, matar ke plant se. So he was an Austrian monk who studied genetics. He is also known as the father of modern genetics. And heredity is the passing down of traits. Traits basically means characters, okay, from one generation to another. That is from parents to children's or offsprings. Okay, next one is their Louis Pasteur, who uh, gave us the process of preserving foods by pasteurization. Pasteurization is what? Heating the milk to a very high temperature and then suddenly cooling it. Okay, this is known as your pasteurization. He also gave us the phenomenal effect when the things or the food items were getting destroyed by fermentation process. Okay, so he was the person who gave us the different techniques how we can protect our foods, preserve our foods for a longer period of time. The last one we have the Jagdish Chandra Bose, that was the discoveries in plant physiology by detection of minute responses by living organisms to external stimuli. Okay, if you remember, there is a plant which is known as Chui Mui plant. Okay, so in the case of Chui Mui plant, what do you observe is that the moment you touch that plant, that the leaves of that plant immediately droops down. Okay, so this is the environmental stimuli which is observed in the case of the living organisms. All right, let us go ahead with this part. Last part, that is our current affairs. Okay, current affairs of 26/11/2020, that is yesterday. So Indian Army to get drones from Israel, America for surveillance in eastern Ladakh. Okay, this is soon going to get this and the other areas along the India-China border. Okay, the drones will provide a major boost to the capabilities of the Indian Army. As you know that already the tensions are being increasing day by day between India, China, Pakistan, as well as even Nepal as well. So in order to maintain much more surveillance, this drone facility is being taken by the Indian Army and getting the help from the Israel as well as the America. The next is that the Israel Herons will be deployed in the Ladakh sector and they are expected to be more advanced than the existing fleet of the Indian Army. Okay, moving ahead, the deals of the acquisition of these drones is in the final stages and expected to be signed in December. The acquisition of these drones is being done under the emergency financial powers granted by the center to the defense forces. Next we have the Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai tests COVID-19 positive, and since he has been tested positive, so he has told all the persons who have come in contact with him since last few days to get tested for this COVID-19. His cabinet colleague and Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain has tested COVID-19 positive earlier. Might be he has got from him only. Next we have the Indian origin MP creates history by taking oath in Sanskrit in New Zealand. So Dr. Gaurav Sharma, a member of parliament in New Zealand, created history on November 25th by becoming the first Indian origin parliamentarian to take oath in Sanskrit language on foreign land. Dr. Sharma is one of the youngest and newly elected member of parliaments from the Labour Party in the New Zealand Parliament. He hails from Himachal Pradesh. He took the oath first in the New Zealand's indigenous Maori language and then in Sanskrit, showing deep respect for the cultural traditions of both India and New Zealand. He is a doctor by profession, had defeated Tim Macindone of the National Party by 4,386 votes to win Hamilton West. Before this, he had unsuccessfully fought elections in 2017. Nation remembers the victims on 12th anniversary of 26/11 Mumbai attacks. If you remember, yesterday was the date when it was attacked on the Taj Hotel. Okay. This began on November 26, 2008, lasted for 4 days, leading to the death of 166 people and injuring over 300. This attack saw 10 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists coming to Mumbai through sea from Pakistan and carrying out a series of coordinated shooting across the city, including the iconic Taj Hotel and Oberoi Trident Hotel. Well, next one we have BCCI president to negotiate quarantine terms for Rohit Sharma with Cricket Australia in order to get well quick and be a part of the team. This is done. Okay. So this was all for today. Okay. I hope you all would have got the things which we have done today. I request each and every one of you to complete your works on time. Please go through the current affairs as well, and at the same time please take care of yourselves, because that is most important. Okay, so please take care of yourself. Thanks a lot for being with me and have a superb day ahead. Thank you.